I just want to start by thanking everyone for liking my video, subscribing, and helping grow the channel. I really appreciate all the support. I saw the feedback that some of you wanted me to do a full playoff bracket prediction, so here it is. First round, Denver beats Timberwolves in 6. Even though the Timberwolves lost Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels, their team is still very good with Karl-Anthony Towns, Edwards, Gobert, and Conley. Gobert in the regular season since 2021 is also 3-1 against Jokic. Cat is also 3-1 against Jokic since 2021. Cat averages 25.5 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 3.5 assists on 59.3 field goal percentage and 45.5 3-point shooting and 95.7 free throw shooting. Gobert averages 12.3 points, 11.0 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks with 85% field goal. Jokic, however, does average a triple-double of 23.3 points, 11.3 assists, 10 point rebounds against Gobert with 63.2% field goal, 50% 3-point shooting, and 78.9% free throw shooting. Jokic scoring and rebounding is less than usual, and with Timberwolves star bigs, it'll be harder to rebound. Jokic also doesn't have much help for that. The Nuggets are much more experienced in the playoffs with their core and can outplay Timberwolves. Nuggets still earned their top seed in the West, and the Jamal Murray-Jokic duo has a record of 40-19. The Timberwolves haven't played enough games together as they only got Conley at the trade deadline and can't return late into the season. Their potential is still there, and their upside could cause Denver some issues as Denver also coasted their final season games. Bad habits can carry on to the playoffs. There will be a game or two where Denver may not fight back when down, and if Timberwolves really press to win like they tried in their play-in games, their effort could win them a game or two. I have a video covering the Suns Clippers, please check that out, but I have Suns winning in 6. The Kings versus Warriors is a very interesting matchup. Both offensive juggernauts, with the Kings having the highest offensive efficiency in NBA history. The Kings, however, have little to no playoff experience. Fox won the first ever clutch player of the year, but the playoffs are a whole different game. Fox even said he was thrown off at their game 1 with how physical the playoffs are and how he had to adjust quickly. Harrison Barnes won a championship with the Warriors in 2015 as a starter and is familiar with a lot of their playstyle, so having him as a veteran is a big advantage. Mike Brown won his second Coach of the Year this year and is very familiar with the Warriors strategy as he was their assistant coach for the last 6 years. His offensive coaching style is similar and built on the Warriors fundamentals. Mike Brown won a championship as an assistant coach for the Spurs and then 2 more with the Warriors. He's seen championship winning cultures and locker rooms firsthand. Sabonis and Fox are deserving of all NBA spots as well, so they have the talent. The Warriors have been atrocious on the road this year, and those bad habits will carry over to the playoffs, especially in the most intense home court for the Kings. If other road team crowds and atmosphere bother the Warriors that much, imagine the Kings crowd that haven't seen the playoffs in 16 years. The Warriors are already down 0-2, and the Kings have handled their business in their home games. The Warriors could stretch this series to 7 with Wiggins coming to form, and Klay has been playing like an all-star. They may even get motivated after the Draymond suspension, and all those counting their dynasty is over. Even if they take this to a game 7, I don't see the Warriors suddenly winning the most important road game when they've struggled in most of their other road games. For the Lakers-Grizzlies, check out my other video. I have Lakers in 6. For the Bucks versus Heat, I had Bucks in 6 as the Bucks have struggled against the Heat in the past. The Heat are a sneaky 8 seed. Just last year, the Heat were the number 1 seed in the East and took the Celtics to an extremely close Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Heat also eliminated the Bucks in 5 on their way to the NBA Finals in 2020. They got swept by the Bucks a year later. Both teams have had their share of battles these last few playoffs, even with the Heat struggling this year, especially with outside shooting. They found a way to get to the 8th seed and already won Game 1. I believe with Giannis' injury and playoff Butler, they could win another game. The Heat are also missing Tyler Hero though. The Bucks have 11-8 record without Giannis this season. The Heat, however, are 7-8 without Hero. I believe the Cavs will win this series as they are the better team. In most metrics, they are not just a better team, they are one of the best teams in the whole league. They are first in defensive rating for the season. Jalen Brunson was a star this season in his first year with the Knicks. Randle is back to all-star form too. Josh Hart is such a great role player, and Grimes is playing great too. Quickly was a finalist for the 6th man of the year, but he and RJ have struggled offensively so far this series though. The Cavs have Defensive Player of the Year finalist Evan Mobley. Jared Allen's back and anchoring their defense with Mobley. They have one of the best backcourts in the NBA with All-Star Donovan Mitchell and Garland. They have one of the most complete lineups, and with home court advantage, I see them being the better team and closing the series in 7. Tom Thibodeau still uses a lot of antics in the playoffs that stole Game 1 on the road by the sudden unexpected return of Randle. Randle almost got injured in the Game 2 blowout for still playing him when the game was already out of reach. Thibodeau's still a great coach though. You can expect him to overplay his star starters a lot and forcefully win games. The series is very close and comes down to execution, something the Cavs have struggled with, especially Donovan's decision-making late game. Ultimately, I still see the Cavs winning in 7, and I question how the Knicks will hold up with all the minutes they play. I think Philly versus Nets will be the only sweep. Ben Simmons is missing the whole series. They have a lot of role players, but no real potential star outside of Bridges. The Nets are good for hanging on after the trade deadline and managing to hold a guaranteed playoff spot, but this is far from the team that got them into the spot. The 76ers also can't afford to waste any time as they prepare for their next round against the Celtics and beyond. Trae Young is underrated in the playoffs, especially because of his poor playoffs last year against the first seed Heat. The Heat posed a ton of problems for Trae with their defense and Bam, who took away his elite floater and lob threats. Butler also locked down Trae himself many possessions. The Celtics are playing with similar focus to Trae, who runs their offense, but keep in mind, even a struggling Trae won a game last year in the first round. I also worry a lot about Jaylen Brown's health. He's still wearing a face mask from a facial fracture. Brown then had a hand injury right before the playoffs. Brown cut his hand 9 days earlier on a broken vase. It required 5 stitches that were removed Thursday, which is the first time Brown practiced since sustaining the cut. He missed the final 2 regular season games because of the gash. Brown has been cleared to play in Game 2 and participated in practice Monday. Apparently, he did not need any additional stitches as a result of Saturday's incident in which the cut reopened. On top of all this, Brown did pick up another injury while going for a rebound.
How's the hand feeling after Game 2? First, and my second question is just the overall execution that you saw as a whole as a team in that fourth quarter, just closing out the game. What did you see compared to what happened in Game 1?
Hands doing good. It's just getting better each and every day.
Early first quarter, you were going up with the rebound, took a blow to the shoulder there. It was at the left shoulder, and how is it feeling? I saw you working it out a little bit.
Yeah, I took I think an elbow or something to like my left trap, and it's a little bruised up right now, but you know.
This is now a shoulder injury. The road through the Eastern Conference is a tough one, and I can't imagine Brown could play this whole series or even further. If you're Jaylen Brown, you also have to wonder if putting your body on the line like this is even worth it for a playoff push. Remember, they've been trying to trade him every single time a superstar was available in the trade market and every offseason. On top of this, Brown saw firsthand how they treated Isaiah Thomas for his loyalty and playing through his hip injury in the playoffs. With all these injuries stacking up, I can't see the Celtics making it far, especially against a healthy and well-rested 76ers team that just swept the Nets. Boston and Bucks both have key defensive players in Smart and Lopez, both leading among the most ejections this season. Cavs against the Bucks is an interesting matchup. The Cavs have elite defenders, but so does the Bucks. The length of the series really depends on Giannis's health and when and how he plays off return. Drew can't guard both Garland and Mitchell, so they have to pick their poison. I think the Bucks will eventually finish off the series at home in Game 7 against a Cavs team that's been starving for a playoff push similar to those runs LeBron had before he left. Mitchell is certainly capable of taking the series far, but I doubt they'll be able to win it. For the Eastern Conference Finals, I have the Bucks versus 76ers, and health matters the most at this point. Usually the healthier team wins, as we saw throughout the Suns' run to the finals. The 76ers would have only played 10 games thus far, compared to 13 games for the Bucks. On top of that, Giannis would still have to recover and play through the back injury after a Game 7. There won't be much rest, and so the path is clear for this year's likely MVP to capitalize and win the East. Embiid has had monstrous numbers this season against Giannis. Harden also can't be stopped by Drew. Middleton is still inconsistent coming off injury. The 76ers won't have a better opportunity to win it, and I'm sure even Doc Rivers knows it. The 76ers are deep on their own with PJ Tucker, Melton, and Maxey too. Harden averages 27.7 points, 9.0 assists, and 6.3 rebounds against Bucks Drew on 47.9 field goal, 38.3 3-point shooting, and 92.3% free throw shooting. Embiid averages 27.5 points, 11.3 rebounds, and 5-point assists on Giannis over his career. For the Nuggets Suns would end their series sooner, as their games happen before the Nuggets, so even if both end in 6 games, Suns have that advantage. Monty won't let the extra preparation go to waste. The Nuggets don't have enough firepower to outplay Booker and KD. Jokic plays well against Ayton, but this will ultimately be similar to when the Nuggets had lost to the Suns without KD before. Booker's a better defender now and could be good on Murray or even Chris Paul. The Suns starters are simply better and will end up winning the series. Nuggets aren't particularly physical too like the Clippers, so I imagine they'd have an easier time to beat the Nuggets in 5. The Lakers versus Kings will be a good matchup. The Kings will really want it and home court advantage will play a part, but Lakers are more poised and won't take the Kings lightly, especially after seeing the Warriors series. Lakers also have more time to prepare if the Kings went to Game 7. Sabonis is also dealing with some injuries. Davis can't really be trusted to be healthy too, as we already saw an injury scare in Game 1 against the Grizzlies. The Lakers are talented though and have some good guard depth. The Lakers have been a great defensive team after the trade deadline. Sabonis also averages the second most fouls per game, similar to Jaren in their earlier series. series. Lakers will play on this and look to get Sabonis out of the game, as they also average the most free throw attempts as a team in the league. Closing out the series at Golden One Center will be very difficult, as we know how good the Kings are at home. So I see the Lakers winning in 6 in their home court. The Lakers will then face off against the Suns. The Lakers lost to them in the first round in 2021, right after their title. That Suns team went on to the NBA Finals. That team now has KD, and the Lakers have D'Lo. If Davis can stay healthy, there's a great chance they could win the series. But with the Suns likely beating the Nuggets in 5 and the Lakers playing more games to end their series. Also, the schedule favors these non-play-in teams, which I would make a future video about, as their games will happen before. Ultimately, a healthy Suns team is already unstoppable, but LeBron's resolve and Davis's determination will be tested in this long Western Conference Finals. Ultimately, I predict home court advantage will put the Suns as the favorites and go on to the NBA Finals in Game 7. At this point, it'd be the 76ers versus the Suns. The 76ers will have home court advantage. This will be a test of durability. Harden has played a ton of minutes throughout his career, and I'm sure Embiid and Harden both know well this may be their best and only opportunity to win a title for both their legacies. Harden has always been questioned if he could win a title at the highest level, and Embiid already gets questioned if he's MVP, let alone a Finals MVP player. Harden has changed his game a lot from his primary isolation scoring style to the assist champion this year. Harden has sacrificed a lot, even financially, to sign PJ Tucker. Embiid also took on the scoring burden as the scoring champion. This is a time for Embiid to prove his worth, similar to Giannis in 2021. The Suns cannot stop Embiid, and nobody on the Suns can really guard the Harden we've seen so far. The 76ers are deeper. Tobias Harris is very underrated and could pair up fairly well to score with KD. Maxey will also be a spark plug that could keep up with the Suns. I think it's a series of many adjustments on both sides. Both coaches are all-time coaches. Doc's been in the hot seat for some time, and this is his time, similar to the 08 Celtics, to win the title in Game 7. PJ Tucker and Melton are two of the most underrated pieces that fit really well with this team. Tucker was extremely important in the last few playoff runs. He played 23 games with the Bucks when they won the title and 18 games with the Heat when they almost made the NBA Finals last year. Tucker plays with a lot of hustle and heart and was pivotal in Bucks eliminating KD in 2021. Expect Tucker to play with everything he's got again to defend KD. Ultimately, I believe these moves will pay off in the end. I also don't trust the Suns to be fully healthy coming this far into the playoffs, especially after a more physical Game 7 against the Lakers. As long as the 76ers stay more healthier at the right time and with home court advantage, I believe they could surprise everyone and win the 2023 NBA championship.